Not WordPad. Word. What? Microsoft Word. Do I not have it anymore? I was just using it like yesterday. What? Excel. I guess I have Excel? Confusion? We'll start a Google Doc then. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, ba-da-ba. Just getting set up. Ba-da. I have had a day, but it has been a good day. Barber interview notes. So we're going to start by going back over what I learned from my interview. Where is the interview? Assembly. There we go. I have been pinged. Ping me on the stream. Ba-da-ba-ba. All right. I think we are, as they say, awesome. They don't say that. Nobody says that. Okay. Ran out of ink halfway through. I got a lot of notes. Okay, I have like five pages of notes here. So, the questions that I asked, this is going to be McQuinn's Barber Shop. It's literally like inches from my house. And by inches, I mean blocks, but like still. McQuinn's Barber Shop. Let's get a move on. So, barbershop. Let's start with questions. Actually, I'm gonna get some water first. Oh God. Okay. Oh. So, what we're going to be talking about today is the interview that I did with a local barbershop. Before, if you remember, we were going over the possibilities. I don't know if I have it saved somewhere. I'll bet I do. Streams, barbershop brainstorm. So, let's also check this out. Yes, please. So, we were discussing before, I think this is like a couple weeks ago, but we were discussing, oh my God, what is it? Woo! I fucking love Adi. Oh my God, what a cool guy. We were discussing barbershop stuff, and I put down some notes on brainstorming right here, including the scripts that I used and the questions that I asked and things like that. And so I don't think I got to all of these. No, I got to most of these questions, but I learned a lot from one interview, and I should have done more. I should have done way more. Oh, but I was lazy. So, but regardless, I learned a lot. This is the kind of stuff we assessed before, and I want to write down what I learned, the questions that I asked, and hopefully we can find out like a direction to go in terms of what we're going to be working on. Because I think, given what I learned, like yeah, exactly. I did go to the barbershops. Also, hi. Nice to see you on the stream. So I did go with barbershops, and I only did one interview. I was a little lazy. I had a couple more scheduled. I just didn't get around to it. I got distracted with the crap. That is my bad. But I still learned a ton from one interview, and I have a couple of directions that we can at least try to go into. Plus, off of this, maybe we can create like some email scripts or some more scripts that we can use to just ask more specific questions. At least with this now, we know how to direct some of our questions because we have better baselines for what actually happens within the business. So this is what we had before. I'm going to write down the questions that I asked this time, or at least the ones that I had written down. Biggest costs. How does scheduling work? How does scheduling work? Repeat customers. I was interested about that. Marketing activity. Operational stuff that takes the most time. Alrighty. So, these are the questions that I started with, and then I kind of went from there, given what I heard. I'm just going to start reading off, I guess, what I learned. My throat's killing me. I just ate, that's why. And we can go from there. We can start writing down some notes and see if we can come up with some ideas. Hi, Hank! How's it going, dude? It's a pleasure to see you on the stream. I appreciate you hopping on. Hank just introduced me to another hairdresser, whose name I believe was Donna, something like that. And I appreciate that. That's super cool of you. But it's sup, Hank? What's up, dude? How's your day going? I hope it's going well. My day is going pretty decent. I have been solidly productive. I'm trying to like stand my little. I always take notes in this little book, little nerdy LinkedIn book, and I always have trouble because it's like I used to do interviews with like a tiny little son of a bitch. It was literally like this big. That was when I did my first like entrepreneur interviews when I was just like trying to get myself connected in town. And I remember sitting down with I'm not sure if you know him, Hank, but he runs. I think he's in town right now. He runs Rapid TPC. His name is what's his name? Oh, I love him so much. Ben Charlie. No, not Ben. I know Ben, but it's the other guy. Who's the other guy? Also, hi, Scott. What's up? I want Ben to cut hair too. I would let Ben cut my hair. Ben is just generally like a soft human being. I would trust him with most of my things. I think that's probably Scott. It might also be Olga. I'm not sure. Okay, yeah, it's Scott. There we go. So yeah, because you usually take over the Colonel's Co. Instagram account and do quite funny stuff, might I add. But yeah, good stuff. Good to see you guys on. Look at this. We have startup nerds here. Can't believe it. Anyway, so I was going over stuff to do with barbershops. So a couple streams ago, we assessed like how can we talk to barbershops, how can we discover problems in barbershops, how can we figure out like how to create like products for barbershops. Maybe that's an idea, maybe there's nothing, but how can we go about doing that customer discovery? We discovered that so here's some questions that I ended up asking. We discovered, just based on like kind of conversation in our heads and looking up what happens, there are like we expected there to be like a lot of legacy customers, so a lot of repeat customers. There are like different structures to the business, and I didn't really know anything until I actually started interviewing somebody. I conducted one interview with a very local barbershop. His name is McGuinn. He's literally like 5 blocks from me. Super hipster fella, really cool dude. He just sat down and he stopped vaping for a second, sat down with me, and we hung out. And he's super cool. And he told me all about the business, and it's super awesome. So these are the questions that I asked, just like or at least had written down off the bat. And then the notes that I have here in my neat little red book are as follows. Let's see. All the time. So I expected people to walk in and know what they want in terms of a haircut. He said that's not really what it's all like, but they're pretty standardized in terms of how they do it. So he will help the customer in. He'll sit down with them for like 10 minutes, and he'll say, "What do you want? What kind of haircut do you want?" And he'll help them kind of just figure out that process. It's a conversational thing. So they're pretty standardized in the sense that they ask what they want, and a lot of the time they have to help the client figure out the type of shave that they want, the type of cut, the type of like whatever it is. They use to schedule all of this. A lot of other shops use Booksy, and we're gonna look that up right now. Booksy. And this is what we discovered too when we were looking at when I was looking into like methods that people schedule and how to get in touch with barbershops. So this is Booksy, and Booksy is essentially a scheduling platform. It looks like it's for basically barbers. It's very focused towards that. Nail salon's interesting. Okay, barbershops, hair salon. But things like this in general, they use Booksy. And of course, Booksy is a startup. They discovered this problem within the industry, and they created a product out of it. So that's an awesome example that the barbershop has successful startups. Actually, I'm curious. Is Booksy like, how successful is Booksy? How much investment did they get? They're Silicon Valley. Look at that. They're San Francisco. Holy crap. They're on their Series B, dude. God dang. Who said there's no money in barbershops? Hell yeah. Yeah, exactly. So the first step of customer discovery, I learned that they also start with customer discovery. They have to figure out what their customer wants. And also, that is a piece of the branding, he said. So the conversation isn't just to be like, to help them figure out what they want. It's also to help the customer, like, get to know the barber, right? It's to get to know the owner so they feel like they're talking to somebody professional, so that they trust the person that's cutting their hair. It's a very, very big relationship business. It's also what we kind of assessed. People, and I think you mentioned it before, actually, Hank, in the little LinkedIn message. People stick to their barbers, and they feel like it's cheating if they leave. That is an indication. And I've heard that from a couple of other people. My friend Andrew was also echoing that, and that is because it is a very relationship-focused business. So that tells me that there's probably a lot of repeat customers. That tells me that people know their barbers well. That tells me there's probably a lot of conversation involved. That tells me there's probably a lot of trust involved. And he kind of echoed that to some degree, which is really interesting. So yes, it's customer discovery, but it's also a relationship building, which I think is fascinating. But in terms of scheduling, a lot of platforms use Booksy. It's true, yeah. Efficiency versus profitability. So, like in terms of like wasting time conversing, or like you're talking about nailing down the haircutting process to the point where it's like really smooth and really efficient, is like, are you like the timing of the situation? Is that what you're talking about, Scott? Or I'll write it down. Like Supercuts just 3 times as well. Yes, it's true. Supercuts has nailed it down to less of a relationships business. They exactly, yeah. 120 haircuts for one person. That's insane. So that means, but interesting. So this is actually an interesting little case study. So Hank went to Dana, who was at Sport Clips, 120 times. So that's an indication of a relationship. You had a relationship with Dana. You liked that she cut your hair and knew how to do that. However, when I go to Sport Clips or Supercuts, I don't give a freaking heck about who's cutting my hair. Like I haven't developed that kind of relationship with them, but they allow for that. So I walk in. They don't really care. They're like, oh, like, who are you? We don't know your name. Plug your name into a little thing. We'll get you. You're in the queue now, right? So it's like you're saying, Scott. It's more efficient in that sense. I think you have to do that if you're gonna nail it down to like a larger. If you're gonna scale out to multiple businesses, which makes sense why Supercuts and Sport Clips are run that way. I can't see there being chain stores that are all able to create that kind of feeling of, oh, I know you super personally, like you run this business, like we're super tight, like I've known you since I was like however old. Like it's harder to manufacture that like honest relationship when you probably have a queue, or like when you're in a larger or business organization or a larger, more corporate thing, and you are like, you only get like a like the dynamic is different. The dynamic is different within the business, and so the difference between supercuts, sport clips, and your mom and pop shop is efficiency and profitability. I guarantee you the sport clips and the supercuts make a shitload more money. Like I can't see why they wouldn't. But at the same time, they may not get a ton of they're missing out on some of the customers. Haircut lady sport clips. She personally built that relationship. Now she's able to load her system as she offers a scale person. Interesting. So your haircut person is at Sport Clips, but she uses the infrastructure that she's within at Sport Clips to kind of manufacture a little bit. Okay, so they do allow for that. So it does happen. It does happen like that. I think like the only difference, if we're looking at like a broader audience, if you already know somebody that's cutting your hair, you're going to go to them. There are two kinds of people. Let's break this up into two sets of customers. If there are people who already have a barber, and there are people who do not have a barber, or do not have a haircut. They have one or they don't. The people that have one go to that one, and they don't really do anything else. Whether that's in a Sport Clips, whether that's in a mom and pop barber shop, whether that like whatever it is, like if it's in a chain or if it's something else, you trust a person. So you have a person. And then there are the people who don't, like me. I don't have a person that cuts my hair, and I don't have a person that I like regularly trust. I haven't built that relationship with somebody. I feel like it's because I don't get my hair cut a ton or super often, and I just kind of deal with the length, whatever. I do need to get my hair cut though. But when I do, I'm just gonna walk down to. Interesting though, I always go to the same Sport Clips. I don't care who's there. People have tried to build relationships with me and tried to like start conversation, all the different things, and that's fine. But I don't like the way the referral program works, or the way that like that program works. I just want to get my hair cut whenever, and it's not always the same people working there, and I don't feel especially like attached to any of the people that do work there. So it ends up being that I just go whenever I want, and I'm just like, sure, I'll put myself in the queue. Nobody knows me, and it's just a process. So I don't have a hair cutter. And I feel like I'm probably a minority of the population, because almost everybody that I talk to on this stream or elsewhere has somebody like that. And that's interesting. But regardless, applying to barbershops thrive on only the legacy people. They can't get any of, they rarely ever can get any of the people that don't have a hair cutter, because they're going to probably go, like myself, to a chain, to a Sport Clips, to a Supercuts, blah, 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 whatever it is, right? So that's fascinating to me. That's super interesting. And actually, the McGinn echoed this at McGinn's Barbershop. He says over 90% probably. He doesn't have exact statistics, but he said over 90% are like repeat customers, and they come in on a very regular basis. You have to explain every time there's a new haircut you want. This is stressful, may waste of time. And you don't have to ask me anymore. So yeah, that's a good point though. So like I am missing out on a bit of the experience because I have to re-explain. I mean, so interesting though, Sport Clips does this thing where they keep track on a tab. So this is actually really cool. When I was talking to McGinn, he said that he usually sits down with the person, helps them. If he knows the person, exactly, they keep a file. Exactly. So Scott nailed that. With these larger organizations, they keep a file in a CRM, in a workflow, whatever it is. But they print out a receipt when I come in with the same number that I posted, right? I always type in my phone number, and that's how they keep track of me. If I type in the same phone number, they're like, oh, last time you got a 9 on the top and a 6 on the sides, like whatever it is. Do you want to do that again? Do you blah, blah, blah? And usually I just say, yeah, let's do that again. So they have that, but through, I'm going to, number 3 on the side, scissors kind of, exactly, yeah. So that is how they do it in the larger organizations, because they probably can't keep track, or, so again, it comes back to the two sets of customers. If they already know, like Hanks, like Dana, they already know. They just sit down. It happens. It works. It's a relationship. It's clean. It's smooth. For the people like me that don't have a hair cutter, they can still keep track of me. And it's interesting how that's solved in different scenarios. So in Sport Clips, they have a little file of me. At these barbershops, the way that McGinn says he does it is he memorizes haircuts, or he does it based off of the skull shape. So He says he could do notes through his scheduling app. He has a scheduling app, and he could do notes through it, like on each person. Like, he could write down a couple of little things, like 2 minutes after he cut somebody's hair and like what they like, and he could pull them up afterwards. He thinks that's too much work, and he has a lot of flow through his place. He's a very popular barbershop in town. That's why I found him. He was the #1 barbershop on Google. He could do notes, but asking stuff is part of the value of the small talk. So he sees value in the conversation. He sees value in the high turnover chains. Yes, he did. So there's actually pretty high turnover in general in the barbershop industry. I'll get to that in a little bit, but that's really important. That's actually one of the things that I really want to talk about, and I think we might be able to make a product about that. Or just like, maybe not a product, but something. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But this guy, he deals with like hundreds of different clients, a ton of them, and he doesn't always want to know exactly what they want, because he finds it easier in terms of small talk when the person sits down. He finds it easier to build that relationship. He sees the small talk as important, and if he doesn't want to run out of topics to bullshit about. So he basically leaves some of the stuff out and just kind of lets people come in, and he does it based off the skull shape, and while he's cutting their hair, he asks them, like, are you like this over here? Like, is this good? He doesn't want to know exactly what to do, because then it's a little bit harder to find stuff to talk about. Then again, he may not be deliberately building relationships as deep as maybe Dana does, like Hank says, because Hank walks in, she's fine just talking about food, like whatever it is. So this is fascinating, though. This is all really, really interesting to the operation of the business. All this is really, really important, and it's the same. It's just approached in different ways at both chains and mom and pops. So it's fascinating. But what do we have? So scheduling, mostly done through Booksy. My guy McGinn actually had a really, really clever little thing. He told me not to spread it around because he's very proud of it. He thinks it's kind of an industry secret among barbershops. Basically, what he did is he uses Setmore, because he says Booksy only works with individuals, whereas Setmore works with the whole team. He uses Setmore. He just made a Wix site, and he got a plugin for Setmore. So let's look up Setmore. Setmore app. Online scheduling assistant. Yep. This is just your typical scheduling system and payment platform. So this is probably more for like, it's interesting. They don't seem to have an industry focus. But yeah, look, so through WordPress, through Wix, you can pop it on. It works through whatever. Stream and scan photo, yeah, all this different stuff. Integrates with everything. So he uses Setmore because he thinks that works better with a whole team, and he prefers to do things on a team-to-team basis, which is interesting. He's found that easier. Booksy also has most of the market, so I guarantee you they have something that probably works better for barbers. He just found Setmore more useful. I did see Setmore at a couple of different locations, like a couple of different other barbershops, but for the most part, Booksy is used pretty unanimously. Some done through Setmore. He said his little industry secret wasn't Setmore. It was using, he always insists that people do the scheduling through his website, and he uses the plugin on the Wix website. And he believes, I'm not sure if this is true, he believes that is better for SEO. Because if people always schedule through his website, then people are regularly going to his website to use that scheduling application. And that increases the traffic to his website. And if people can't do it any other way, they're always having to visit the website. So people keep using that, increases the flow on the website, increases the SEO. So when I look up barber shops in Pittsburgh, he's one of the first ones to come up, I think. McGinn, yeah, see? Look at that. So that's his strategy. That's what he believes worked, which is fascinating. I thought that was super cool. So he does have some understanding of SEO, of marketing and things. How's it going? How's it going, Cameron? Starting to sustain. That is Cameron. He's super cool. He interviewed me for his podcast just a little while ago, earlier today. Really dope guy. You should check out his stuff. Cameron Stack. Follow him on LinkedIn. You'll see when he posts his stuff on there. He's just getting it started. I hope you don't mind if I shout you out, Cameron. But yeah. So Some done through Setmore, mostly done through Booksy. In this case, Mick, and he told me not to tell any of the other barbers. Like, if I'm talking to other barbers, please keep that a secret. But he also didn't really care too much. He was like, if you're publishing, or I pretended I was a student doing a report, just because it's easier to explain that way. And he said, like, if you're publishing this in a report, if the other barbers really have the diligence to find the report, scan through it, and find that I do that, they can have the secret. And I was like, ha, what a chill dude. He was really cool, actually. I thought he was such a chill guy. But it was interesting. So I don't know if that's actually affecting his SEO. I would assume that has some influence over it, because more people are searching for him, and if more people are searching for you, you're going to come up in general more for the keywords that you broadly associate with. So overall, pretty dang smart. He understands SEO. He understands marketing. He has ran ads before too. So and that's probably why he's #1 barbershop in Pittsburgh when it pops up. So fascinating, in my opinion. Absolutely fascinating. Used SEO boost from his Wix plugin. His Wix plugin traffic. Cool. How old is this business? I'm actually not sure. Let's find out. I think they have a website. That's Supercuts. Oh, they got me with the ad. Did you see that? Oh, I just instinctively clicked. Oh, I hate that. Barbershop Pittsburgh. Come on, again. Website. I said website. 2017. So it looks like he set this up in 2017. Been doing it for 2 years. So I'll bet that it has some influence over it. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if he was only doing it for like 3 months, then I'm like, your SEO hasn't kicked in, buddy. Current mom is a full-time receptionist. She schedules. Interesting. So some people will just have schedulers. I've seen that too. Receptionists. I would assume, so that's what Booksy replaces, though, because Booksy probably assessed that, like, wow, geez, a lot of these groups, they have. Also, hold on, I want to check out the founders. Look at this cool ass kid. Cool ass kid. I'm probably gonna friend him on LinkedIn. We'll do that in a little bit. Who are you? Oh, Erica Peterson. Here's my calendar. She's super cool. Calendly.com/max. I have to say, getting a Calendly, if that's convenient, you can plug something in for when I get back the week after next. You know what? I'm actually basically free. Super free. After Tuesday next week for a call. I'm sorry about this. I've been trying to get in touch with her. She's super cool. She runs Moms Who Co in town. She's the rep for Moms Who Co, Moms Who Code. And I'm trying to talk to her because I've heard a lot of really positive things. I've never. What do you mean? Why not? Because you'll show up on my stream? Yeah, baby. Everybody gets to see what Scott's saying. I'll be out of town. Oh yeah, totally. Of course. You're a man of specific words. Yeah, no. Erica, I've heard a ton about her. Just because Moms Who Co actually has like a pretty big presence in town, but I haven't bumped into her, and I think she could actually have a lot of, like, we might be able to help her, and she might be able to help us at Moss Generation. We'll see. Yeah, so I use also LinkedIn. Ooh, really? You're a mentor for it. That's awesome. And yes, I completely agree, Cameron. AngelList is pretty dope. AngelList actually has a surprisingly low adoption among a lot of groups. LinkedIn, I would actually say, on there is the best because everybody has a goddamn LinkedIn profile. So for instance, check this out. Let's go stalk Conrad. View on LinkedIn. And let's go stalk his co-founder, Stefan. View on LinkedIn. Boop. Warsaw University. Interesting. Oh, I'm a fool. I'm a dumb fool. I deleted what I was saying. After Tuesday night this week, I'm basically free for a call, though I will out of town. If you want to meet in person, though, I can send you my calendar. Boop. So she, okay, that's actually a really funny story. So she's super cool. Erica Peterson is awesome. SEC filings? You like to read the SEC filings. Are you okay? Did somebody hurt you? I'm just joking. But so Erica's really cool. Heard a lot about her. I really want to get in touch with her. I'm also going to yell at Stefan and Conrad because apparently they're dope. They run Booksy, Chief Product Officer at Booksy. He's from Poland, or maybe he lives in Poland. Customer-centric product manager with experience in product design. That's probably not his accent. Whatever. I made a post like 2 weeks ago, a week ago. Yeah, LinkedIn is the best, like 100%. I made a post 2 weeks ago, a week ago. I can't remember exactly. Actually, let's pull it up. Oh, this is going to be so embarrassing. Oh, you have no idea. I'm so ashamed of this whole situation. I, like, roasted myself on LinkedIn. This is actually like a shockingly amount of. This is actually like double the normal views I have. So, and also you're very active, Cameron's very active, and of course Scott is very active. You're all very talkative people. So this is much more than I'm usually like dealing with, but we'll survive. So, okay, I got so stressed about this. You have no idea. Let's see. It was one of my startup sucks. Startup ideas suck. Where is it? I've been mostly talking about this stuff. Here we go. It got 4,000 views. Solid. Pretty solid, right? Okay, that's interesting, Hank. That's where the crunch person. Got it. So they just scrape it off of the SEC filings. Fascinating. What a cool thing. Anyway, so this is what I wrote. If you will notice, this is edited. So I can't even highlight it. It's edited right there. See? The reason that it is edited is because I was an asshole. And I made an absolute fool of myself because basically what I said was startup ideas suck, number 11, whatever. A Wi-Fi setup made specifically for moms. And I was making fun of the concept of how, like, usually, everybody jokes that, like, my mom doesn't know how to use Wi-Fi. I did not realize that I was being a jerk about that. Exactly. Yeah, you probably saw that and you're like, ooh. I didn't realize I was being a freaking nerd about it, but I got roasted. You have no idea, Scott. I'm gonna run through the comments. I edited it. I try not to meddle with learning. Thanks, Scott. No, it was a good learning experience. It was nice. But I was making fun of moms and older and parents of a different generation that maybe don't know how to set up routers, or maybe don't know how to set up their phone, or whatever it may be. Just like there are a lot of like quote unquote tech problems that people stereotype with their parents not knowing, because everybody always has the experience of like, or certain people will have the experience of not being able to help their parents or having to help their parents set up tech. And so I was specifying it to parents, and I was being a little bit of a jerk about that, and I didn't realize. And so, but I definitely like leaned on the mom side of things. I was being a bit of a jerk in the last post. I appreciate everybody who pointed that out. Basically, and it was interesting because it was very divided. Some actual mom. I was actually recommended the idea by a friend of mine, a different Olga, actually. And, actually, Erica did not eat my fucking face. She almost did, and I caught myself. So of course, almost all the dudes were like, "Love this idea," because they also didn't realize. And then this is Olga. So this is my friend Olga from LinkedIn. I think she lives in New York. I can't remember, but or DC. And she. Please tell my mom about it. She was the one that recommended the idea to me, and I was like, "Oh, cool, funny." And then Courtney was like, and dad's, and I'm like, I agree, my dad is hella tech-savvy. So she was actually on the side of like, actually both moms and dads have trouble. So she knew that I was being biased towards one side of it, but it was in a different way. And then some people started destroying me. Bob was the first person to point it out, and I fucking love you, Bob. Oh my god, Bob was awesome. He said, just the fact that you need to qualify your comment of the fact is mostly funny should probably tell you that it was inappropriate. He was very gentle about it, but he totally like laid it down. Also, Michael, I think this is stereotyping. People started laying down on me. It was interesting. So like it was interesting. Like some people didn't care, some people didn't realize, and then some people were really not okay with it. And I got pretty slain, and it was funny. This is where I got really scared. So I know Allison Fox super well. I'm like besties with Allison. She's hilarious, by the way. I'm so glad that like we got introduced just because I heard that she was doing stuff with you, Scott. I got introduced to her. I hang out with her constantly. She's so fucking cool. And then Erica Peterson, and then Tracy, who actually I have not met. Where did she go? Fragment. Interesting. Maybe you know her. But basically, Audrey Russo was like, and she tagged all of them. Allison has since not given me shit. Erica started to rip my face off, rightfully so. The fact that this isn't something that would be funny isn't funny. There you go. And so that was actually my first introduction to Erica, which was sucky. And then I can't remember who. Yeah, so Tracy came back. She loved the edit. Some of us were talking about it tonight. Glad to see the update. So actually, people were talking about the fact that I was being a fuck. And I felt really bad about that. And then look, she got like 5 likes. Everybody's all into it. I agree. I appreciate all these people pointing it out, especially like Bob really laid it down. Bob really laid down everything wrong that I said, and I really appreciate him for that. But when people started to pick on it, I was like, oh shit, I didn't realize that I was doing that. Anyway, regardless, that was my first introduction to Erica. And so hopefully she doesn't hate my guts too much. Does that? No, that's a different Tracy. That's Tracy Saunders. Right? Yeah, I know Tracy super well. Tracy's super cool. Ooh. So she ripped me apart, or she was going to. They all were about to. And Audrey Russo was going to. Audrey Russo has never even met me, nor like, and I've like tried to meet her multiple times, and I've like wanted to. She's never met me, and then the one introduction that I also get to her is being a shit on LinkedIn, like, and so bad, so bad. I felt horrible. I felt so bad about it. But live and learn. Scott didn't get in the way of my learning. Hoorah! Anyway. Okay, dope. I'll set a reminder to stop by after I'm back in town. And I'll ping you to give you an idea of when I'll get there. I'll stop in. Thanks so much. Forward to it. Now I'm going to set myself a motherfucking reminder. What are we talking about? Allison Falk is great. Love her to death. I usually go out drinking with her. She's hilarious. She's also tiny, so she gets drunk in like seconds. It's amazing. It's goals. Yes, it did. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate the rundown. So, Mr. and Mrs. Jackhammer, I basically was discussing how I posted some shit on lol thanks. I discussed how I posted some shit on LinkedIn that I was talking about like helping people with tech that may not be so tech savvy, but I prioritized it towards moms, and that like in a bit of a stereotyping way, and I got ripped apart, rightfully so. 3.5 out of 5. 3.5 out of 5. Would ride roller coaster again. Ping Erica Peterson about stopping by beauty shop, and I'll set this for when I get back. She said the 15th, right? Here, I'll just put it there for now. What'd she say? 9 to 1 p.m. starting July 15th. Cool. I think it's pretty clear just how she responded to that message that she doesn't really want to talk to me that much. But I'm hopefully going to win her over in conversation. Between 9 a.m. 1 p.m. Cool. She is very busy. I also feel like she probably has some... Yeah, I get it. I do feel like I came off on the wrong foot with her, just virtually, and so I want to be really careful. I don't want to bug her, and I'm glad that she wouldn't like schedule a meeting because I don't want to put any pressure on her schedule. What with the casual? Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Scott. So glad to have you in the stream. Anyway, okay, so back to the fucking actual topic. No, please stay. I would love it. I appreciate your feedback. I'm just sassing you because you're being a sass. At Aldrius's house. Wow. God dang. All these superpower tech moms run together. No wonder I got screwed. But okay, cool. Back to the topic at hand, and not about how I'm a horrible person. So, booking. I also need a haircut. Booking mostly done through these apps. These apps, super easy to set up. You plug it into a Wix website, easy. So we're not going to really be able to help with scheduling. That's understandable because there are a lot of different industries that use scheduling like this, so it's understandable. We're trying to find more niche things, right? So over 90% of their customers are repeat customers. That's interesting. So customers, or plus 90% are 90% are repeats. That's interesting. And the frequency is 2 to 6 weeks is pretty common. Quarterly cuts are common too. So the two things that he said that were most common are quarterly cuts, or 2 to 6 weeks. So every 2 to 6 weeks. Can you imagine getting your haircut every 2 weeks? That's wild. That's super wild. I can't like... That's a very consistent haircut. That's also a lot of money spent. It's pretty crazy. Every 2 to 6 weeks. Every 2 to 6 weekos. I can't type. Wex. I used to get my... Really? God damn it, Hank. Every Saturday morning. What? Is that real? Every 2 weeks. Brother, Jeremy, what are you doing? I'll shit all over you, dude. If you're just tuning in, you know... No, I know. I need to update my little thing. So I know I just have a little thing. I should be putting a bunch of stuff like over here on this side of things. I should be like, if you look, hey, I have a little, find me on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/in/maxmiro. Isn't that kind of cute? Like, isn't that fun? That's all I have right now. I know I need to update. You should yell at me about it soon so I can figure that out. I meant to do it. But yeah, it's P-Fly. It's decently fly. To start. But I know... Get off of me. Get off of my ass. Oh my god. You piece of poop. Jeremy is super cool, by the way. Can we hire Barber? Hey, that'd be really funny. Bad words. Oh no. Are you not allowed to curse on Twitch? Because if not, I should have been abandoned long time ago. Anyway, quarterly cuts every 2 to 6 weeks. That's what he said was the typical frequency. I was interested in, especially in the costs that they have for their typical stuff. So costs. I expected things like ordering stuff like cream, like scissors, like like blades for razors, like stuff that I heard him say the fuck word earlier. I expected all of those different things to be more expensive. He says that was essentially negligible. Like it was basically nothing compared to their overall reported blocked unsubbed. Being roasted in my own stream. Well, I knew this was eventually going to happen. There just needed to be a high enough collection of people that enjoy roasting me together in one place. Scott certainly enjoys roasting. Jeremy certainly enjoys roasting. Hank is a nice guy. Unlike both of you, but it's fine. So, Andrew, I'm shocked that if Andrew was here and Andy were here, then that would be the ultimate roast session because all of you would just bounce stuff off of each other and it would just, nothing would productively get done. It would just be make fun of Matt's. You missed, I don't know if you were in there, Jeremy, you missed me roasting myself because I was talking about a LinkedIn post that I made that I was accidentally stereotyping moms, and it was this whole thing, and I got roasted by a significant number of the superpower tech moms in Pittsburgh. Whoa, yeah, exactly. It's not women. There was no. I can't defend myself anymore. I'm an asshole, everybody. Thank you. Well, it's clearly I can't stay on task. Just moms. I'm just biased against moms, not women. It's not better. It's not better. I cry. I know exactly. I don't. Exactly. It's impossible. It's impossible with all of this conversation. Thank you, Adi. Thank you, Hank. What are the costs? The costs. So the rent is the main thing. Rent, by and large, is the biggest thing. What games do we play? Hush, Jeremy. I know it makes this better for us. Hank is keeping me on topic. I really appreciate this. You are my hero, Hank. Jeremy's still roasting me about video games. I played Terraria last night. It was delicious. You should play some Terraria with me. Or some Left 4 Dead 2. The rent is the main thing. Everything else, everyone else is... Actually, I didn't know this. This is really, really cool. I learned the most thing. I had no idea that things are structured like this. So, barbershops almost always... almost always. I'm not sure if this is true of Sport Clips or Super Clips or Supercuts or whatever it is, of the chains, but I know, we'll talk about this later, Jeremy. That's a very good point, though. You know all the stream things. The barbershops don't actually have employees. They have an owner that owns the space, and then they have independent contractors that each get a cut of what they're doing. So the... He owns the place. He'll just bring people in. He'll hire people through just relationships that he builds. He'll go to events. He'll find people. Sometimes there are Barber events. I don't know, things like that. Or there'll be showcases. Or people will contact him actually because of his great SEO, because he always shows up number one on Google. He just gets most of his conversation through that. Most of his clients and most of his contractors through that. I think it's fascinating. So he doesn't have personally issues with that, but he has heard, and this is actually where it gets really cool, he has heard that a lot of other barbershops, especially new barbershops, have a lot of trouble finding contractors because they don't start with employees. They do independent contractors, and the independent contractor will come in, they'll get 70%, the customer will pay them $20 for a haircut. Let's say it's $20. They will get 70% of that, which is $14. They'll get $14, and then the other $6 will go to Mr. McGuinn, the owner of the place, who is running the whole operation, which is fascinating to me. I really like that. So that's what we know, and that means that hiring is not a cost, which is very interesting to think about. So, and I thought that would actually be a really big cost. What if you could just make a robotic hair cutter that would, fix everything? That's not an issue. Nobody would buy a robotic hair cutter probably, unless it was super, super cheap, because they don't have to pay their employees because they're not employees; they're independent contractors. That's fascinating to me. My girlfriend is texting me. I always text my girlfriend during my streams, and I feel like it's a bad habit. Don't roast me, Jeremy. Jeremy's about to destroy me. So that's fascinating. But rent, by and large, Thanks, Jeremy. Rent by and large, biggest cost. He said it was like it makes everything else pale in comparison. So rent, largest cost. Boom. Independent contractors are not a cost. Employees / contractors, not a cost. But finding them can be. So that was the other thing. A lot of new shops have trouble finding contractors. Problems. So let's see if we can assess problems. Again, only one interview. Very biased-ish. Scott's roasting me in text now. Oh, where was I? When it comes to hiring and finding new contractors for your shop, that gets to be a bit of a problem. And there are actually current solutions for that are basically, so because McGuinn, I'm just going to call him McGuinn, because he, I'm roasting Scott, because he has great SEO, people will type in, if they're looking for contracting jobs at barbershops, they will type into Google, hey, like barbershops in Pittsburgh, and they will start searching, so they can start reaching out to people, right? He doesn't have an issue with that because he's number one, so everybody finds him, so he gets plenty of requests. So he doesn't personally have an issue for that, but other barbershops that aren't number one or number two or number three might. The solutions that he told me that other people do, which is something that I shouldn't necessarily trust, because if he's telling me what problems other people have, that's a big no-no. That is a medium-sized no-no, because they he doesn't know exactly their problems. He's making assumptions based on conversations he's had, and he hasn't asked the same questions. Because he's not the person. He's not the person dealing with that specific problem. If he's not dealing with the problem, he doesn't know if it's an actual problem. It's like me saying, gosh, my friend Jeremy always had, like, I saw when we were hanging out together, like, you had trouble ordering the right food, or like you were at a restaurant and you mistakenly like made the wrong choice of food. Then I go and tell people, like, actually, people actually have, I know a lot of people that have trouble figuring out how to order the right kind of food of this specific kind of cuisine, because they don't know the names, they don't know how things work, or the menus didn't describe very well. That's me making assumptions. Maybe you just thought it was something else because you ordered it previously and they made a mistake. Like, there are so many things that can go wrong. That is now not direct information. That's a bad example, but that's not direct information. That is a medium-sized no-no. He's still in the industry. He still has friends that also run barbershops, so he has some understanding of it, but it's not a ton. And it's not direct, and we can't fully trust non-direct information. So that's a medium-sized no-no, but still something we can work off of, right? So problems: hiring new contractors. Contractors to cut hair. The current solutions to that I heard, that he told me, again, it depends. So I think so, just because there's more stylization involved. It's interesting, though, because there are specific barbershops for different ethnic hair. So, for instance, African American hair is especially difficult, or especially, it has very, very special types of cutting that are required, very specific types of tools. I've heard this echoed across of a bunch of my different friends, a bunch of people that I've talked to. There are specific barbershops for that kind of stuff, and that can run up, I think, in cost a bit more. Totally depends. But in general, against the typical boy, against the typical boy and the typical girl, you're probably gonna require more hair care in general for women. So I think it's more for women's cuts, which is interesting. Services, exactly, like stylization, not necessarily cutting. I think it definitely runs up more like that, just because that's generally more of a cost for women. So I think that's a safe assumption. Yeah. Hiring contractors to cut hair. This is done through barber schools, at least partially. So people will reach out. There's also possibly ways to find them, but it's hard. People don't have presences if they're just looking. But these barbershops have presences. So there is the hope that if you have a big enough presence, people I am also interested in seeing a per minute breakdown. There are like people will reach out to barbershops and say, "Hey, I want a job. Can I be a contractor at your group?" You can hope for that. You can just sit there and like wait as a barbershop. You can run ads, or you can go and talk to barber schools. And I think there's one or two barber schools in town. But as their students are graduating or as their students are working at these beauty schools, at these barbershop schools, at things like that, they are looking for jobs. And so I think some of the schools do have some programs where they help them find jobs. So they have relationships with current barbershops, things like that, blah, 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 blah. That's what I would hope. If that's not done well, or that like platform of a sort, and that relationship isn't like consistent or sucks or is slow or whatever the heck, that's something we can probably fix. Because all I would really take is just like finding a database online and just circulating it among the barber community, especially new barber shops. That'd be interesting, right? That'd be a cool little thing to build. Again, completely an idea. But hiring contractors to cut their hair, done through, we'll say, barber schools and advertising. Maybe we can fix that. Let's see. Costs. Back to costs. Everything else is basically negligible. Other like consumables, like blades, cream. Cream costs like a fraction of a cent, he said, because they all get it all wholesale. Everything is basically nothing. Basically. Interesting. So rent is the largest cost. He also pays a little bit for Setmore. Didn't say it was a ton. There he is. There's the man himself. Hi, Andy. Yes, rent is expensive. I was just talking about barbershops. Also, Scott is in. Hi, Andy. Scott is in here, so you two should yell at each other. That's. I think you added an extra T. Yeah. All right, well. Oh boy. Here we go. Scott and Andy are two of the most social individuals that I've ever met in my entire life, and now they are in a chat together. This is great. Anyway, moving on. So I think that's everything from this page. All barbershops do the subcontractor thing. They are so when I asked him like what he wants and what he wants for his business. Oh god, you guys are unbearable. When I asked what McGinn wants for his business in terms of like extra things, I asked like, would you like new clients? It seems like they have like a pretty consistent client base because they have so many repeat customers. They basically are set, right? And so that's basically what he was comfortable with. Like he's all right with the number of people that he's currently working with because almost all of them are repeat customers and all the other ones just kind of wandering through Google, right? So he's open to new clients, but they looked pretty full when I was going in there. Like they had a little bit of a wait. They have like people chilling. There's people regularly coming in. He's not personally dealing with that. Doesn't mean it's not a problem. For other barbershops, he's a special case, or he might be a special case. We will find out. So, let's say might need new clients, but not an obvious issue. Not an obvious issue. There we go. So that's interesting to know. Uses Square for pay. So in terms of payment, he has that automated too. He just uses Square. He doesn't really think about it. The costs are super minimal. It's whatever. It's not a big deal for him. So that's also negligible. So in terms of costs, uses Square, but doesn't really think about it. Boom. Memorizes haircuts, doesn't need a database to keep track of all of his things, just because usually it's part of the conversation. So he does not need a note taker or anything like that when it comes to his clients. Small talk is considered important by owner, and there Full front and back end, just put other operation type stuff online instead of many services put on one platform. Interesting point. That is quite an operation. I'm looking for, so that's a very good point. There may be things like that. Maybe Booksy does. I'll bet you Booksy has something like that because Booksy does a lot of different things. It's better not to be an aggregator because that means there's a ton of replacements for your technology. So as a baseline, if you're looking to create something, if a bunch of different solutions are out there, they're all likely working on fixing the rest of the solution to some degree. And so you're essentially competing with everybody when you do that, if you're not really, really careful. So that you were right. That's a good point. But given this industry and given like Booksy and Square, those are all very, very tailored things to each of these pieces of the industry, and they are all done very, very well in terms of UI and UX. And I don't want. It's honestly almost an impossible task for me to go and recreate all of their tools, including the payment, including the scheduling, including the notes, including the ordering, all of that together into one full shop, like one-stop barbershop, like fix it up kind of thing. Stop it, Andy. Who told you that? But that's unrealistic in terms of building a startup. That's unrealistic even for huge tech companies to do. It's a really, really big thing to take on. You have to get everything just right, and people are already used to the kind of ragtag thing that they have together. Plus, all of these little components work really well together. That's why they're built that way. It would be a bitch to do. Yes, exactly. A Shopify Bros. I understand what you're saying. It's pretty full, like a full service kind of platform. But if I can't use what I'm currently using, and I have to switch off, that's a pain in the butt. What I'm looking for is something really, really small, really, really simple, and it just fixes a tiny, tiny niche little thing that nobody else has really messed with, right? So I don't want to recreate. It's always a bad idea because that's the red ocean vibe. It's red ocean versus blue ocean. Red ocean is where you have a ton of competitors and you're trying to redo what they're all doing, but better, right? That's hard. That's really hard, especially when you're competing with startups because they're all trying to do it at the same thing. Green ocean, right? Is it green ocean? Red versus maybe? Whatever. Maybe you're right. But there's red ocean, which is tons of competition. Yeah. That's, I don't know what that means, Andy. But sustainable. Yeah, exactly. And the green ocean or blue ocean, I can't remember which it is where you're the only person in that ocean, right? So you don't, thank God Andy showed up. You don't have to compete with anybody. You are creating a product for a very niche, very small, but decent enough industry that you are really the only person solving that problem. It is a problem that nobody else has solved because it's too small. So you as a person, you as a company, you as a product, don't really have to compete with anybody. So when you're pitching, you're saying, hey, I solved this problem for you. They've never heard anything like that. They have never interacted with anything like that. It is all completely new to them. And it's much easier, first of all, to make the sell, much easier to do the marketing. And oh my God, you don't have to compete because I hate competition. Competition, makes everything a whole lot stressful. That's why investment happens. That's why irrational stuff happens in terms of Silicon Valley and a lot of these bigger startups. That's why a lot of aggression gets thrown around. That's why there's all these things of that. That's why people keep thinking about oh, I can't share my idea. I need an NDA before I can talk about my idea. Exactly, capitalism, of course, yes. I'm just I think capitalism is much better done when you. I agree with competition. I think if you can create a better product, kick ass, kill them, acquire them, buy them up, create a big company. I'm 21 and I just graduated college. I have never built a tech product before. I don't even know how to code. I have only talked to one barbershop, and yes, Andy Chan is Chairman. Exactly, yeah. I haven't done really, honestly, jack shit. And if I was... No, I know. I can find coders, sure. I can't find a team of 25, 50 coders to build me a massive platform that redoes Square, that redoes Booksy, that redoes everything all in one, right? That's not the issue. You need a toe? I can get you a toe, dude. All I'm trying to say is that that's an irrational way to approach a problem. If we see a problem that things are a little bit inefficient overall, trying to solve the overall problem is never a good idea. You want to find something super, super niche and build up from there. Because if you can solve a super, super niche problem, first of all, it's easier to solve. I could probably throw something together on like Zapier, on Google Sheets, on like a marketing workflow, on something like that, on maybe Shopify, or a website, and make it like a template. I could probably throw something together like that in a week or a weekend, because that's applicable stuff that's easy to solve small problems with. But when it comes to big shit, yes, it's not hard to do from a programming side, but to like create all these integrations, to create something that's full service, to create a product that works unbelievably well and is extremely well designed, that takes years. It takes years. It's a really, really big undertaking to do. And it takes teams of tech talent to make sure bugs don't go wrong, especially when you have all these inputs. So smaller is better. I'm also small, and so I'm just trying to find really, really small little things. Exactly. Solve one problem for one person, get them to pay for it, find another person with the same problem, repeat. The idea is to find a group of people that have similar problems so we can solve that very, very tiny little issue, as opposed to solve an industry issue. Right now, I am looking at owners of barbershops. That is the idea. Maybe contractors within barbershops. Maybe they have issues finding and contacting barbershops. I should interview some of them too. But regardless, that's what we're going with. That's how it works. Glad you guys agree. I appreciate these questions, though. This is really, really good stuff. But overall, the main cost is the rent. Biggest thing. He has plenty of contractors. They don't need to keep tabs on things. He has done some advertising through the American Art Association. So he has done little events where he'll cut hair, or he'll get people with him to cut hair, and he'll do a little bit of advertising through that group. So they had a little bit of a haircutting station, and he was advertising through that. He says didn't really do much. He's done Facebook ads, and he likes them, but he hasn't gotten a ton of leads from them. So he is actively trying to do marketing, which is cool. Very, very interesting. But overall, best thing that's worked for him is his SEO, is the fact that he pops up on Google super, super quick. So I think that's fascinating. I think that's super cool. Barber schools, see if you're interested. He's heard it doesn't work that well. So he's heard that contacting, yeah. So other barbers also contact local barber schools via an email list that the schools have of their students, and to see if anybody's interested. And he's heard that doesn't work super well, which is very interesting. So I feel like we've assessed everything right here, which is dope. This is all my notes. I think we've run over everything. Now, I want to see if we can start iterating on problems. How big does he consider his serving area to be? I don't know if I asked that, but it doesn't seem to be like people come from far. Like the way he was talking about it, it didn't seem like people came from too far away. That said, he does get the SEO when somebody types in Pittsburgh. Oh my god, I can't type. Pittsburgh barbershop. He's number one. He's actually number one on he's not number one on Google. He's number one on Google Maps. And I wonder why. That may have to do with more positive reviews. Yeah, it actually does. Check this out. Look at this. So he was wrong. He was straight up wrong. He thinks this is because of SEO, right? Ton of wasted fuel in this effort because he has a fairly low ceiling on ROI. Wasted fuel in terms of what? In terms of what operation, Scott? Like marketing? Yeah, I agree. He doesn't get nearly as much value out of an ad just because of his positioning currently. Yeah. So I don't know. He tried it out. He hasn't done it a ton. You should see solid advertising and buy his building. I don't think he has enough money. I don't think he has enough money at all. He might. Didn't seem like he was raking the cash in. No, buying a building is better. Like you're paying land tax, but it's not real estate tax, but you're not wasting money on rent. Exactly. Yeah. So I agree. Buying it is much better, but he came into it without really too much resources, I think. And so he's running along there. I don't think it's Yeah. There are ways to do it. I'm trying to like look at like the typical associate. I'm betting typically within the industry, most people don't own the building they're working out of, right? They're probably renting it. I don't assume they don't have. Should make one big barber shop to take over all of Pittsburgh. I would assume that a lot of barbershops don't have the ability, don't have the capital. It's a low ROI business. You don't get paid a ton. 100 barbers, that would be lit. Barber like a world of hair cutting. Scissors are flying, all this different shit. That'd be funny. I'm assuming across most of the industry. Exactly, no, advertising very much sucks because they're so replaceable, right? It's not like you're advertising a product that like people have never heard of or people are looking for, right? Even if you're looking for a barber, you're like seeing an ad from a barber is like I could type into Google barbers and I get 100, right? Probably not. You probably won't cross town for one. So why would you do it? I would go to him, but because he's literally 5 blocks away from me. So why? Biggest barbers in Pittsburgh, 100 plus barbers, never a wait. I don't know. There's rarely any waits at most barber shops, but like even with that big pitch, people are still going to go to their mom and pops. People are still going to go to their typical places. People are still going to go to the ones that they're comfortable with, right? Or they're going to go to things that like name brands that they recognize. Sport Clips, Super Clips, or Sport Clips, Sport Cuts, Super Clips, Super Cuts, Sport Clips, Sport Clips. Regardless, it's hard to differentiate yourself in this industry is the point. That's why advertising sucks. So advertising isn't the right solution. There may be a different creative way to do it, but the typical running an ad, clip cut, super sport. So advertising isn't a big thing. He's worked through SEO. He thinks it's SEO. It is not. Because look, he shows up in maps. Because he has a 4.8, the next one is a 4.8. This is a 4.7. This one has more reviews, but this one has a little bit less reviews, but this one has more reviews. This is ranked based on reviews. He's gotten a lot of positive reviews, number-wise and ranking-wise, and so therefore he is on the top. It's not because of his SEO. So let's write that down. Not because of SEO. He shows up on maps because of reviews, Google reviews. So that's super important. Barbershops probably don't know that too well because if he's the number one in Pittsburgh and he doesn't know it. So that probably is a safe assumption. So showing up on Google is not a matter of SEO. It's a matter of McGoon's Barbershop. He's all the way down here. I looked up Pittsburgh Barbershop. He's all the way down here. So he does have good SEO. Not going to lie. So maybe the SEO isn't necessarily that. But he shows up top on here because of his reviews. That's super interesting. I wonder if we can help with that. Help barbershops get reviews. Interesting. Very interesting. Also, let's quickly connect with Conrad. Hey, Conrad. I was running a stream on Twitch and talking live about how cool your platform is for the barbershop industry. Would love to connect and keep up with what you do as an entrepreneur. Best, Max. All X paste. Conrad. Stefan. Boop. Connect. Add a note. Boop. Stefan. Bop. Boom. Survey is probably blah blah. Yeah, I would agree. Yeah. Ooh, interesting. SEO for salons. Yeah. But is that a problem? Is his serving area a problem? I'm pretty sure that within this area, like within most areas that these barbershops are located, they're located within reasonable areas with a decent amount of people. And is review count? Okay, that's a good point. Okay, good point for review counts. So how? Let's do hill population. We have 11,000 people in Squirrel Hill North. That was in 2010. Yeah. I think people will drive 2 to 3 places away. I agree. No, totally. That's what, like, I think scaling is the right idea. Like, they have the brand name, they have advertising budget, and it's their they kill it because of that. I'm more interested in the mom and pops. I'm not going to be able to create a product that's sport clips or super cuts or I can't sport clips and super cuts already doesn't have, right? Thank you, Cameron. I think it's pretty fire too. All these nerds are trying to help me. It's great. One location tracks all the best barbers. Oh my goodness. The super barber shop is killing me. Point is though, when you are a chain, you have the resources to pick the piece of like the mega clips. You have the resources to pick the part of town that has the most men, right? You have or has the most people that need their haircut. You have the resources to buy a building. You have the resources to do advertising budget to increase the value brand name that helps all of the stores. You have the ability to create these CRM platforms that help management so nobody has to remember jack shit. They just like walk in, it's clean, it's done. You have all of this is very possible if you are a larger organization, right? But oh my god, dude. Quick rant. So I'll get to that in a second. I'll get to your rant in a second. Point is, I'm trying to prioritize smaller barbershops because they are a more key piece of the industry. They are more repeatable because they often have to deal with the same problems and they are smaller, so they don't have the resources to create their own in-house products like sport clips or supercuts might. That's why I'm trying to prioritize those and move away from supercuts, sport clips, whatever it is, because these bigger chains probably have more resources than I could ever hope to give to them. I'm not going to be able to create a Google sheet that helps sport clips, and I'm not going to be able to sell that to all the sport clips because they probably make all that shit in-house, and that's not going to be good for me as an entrepreneur. So I'm going to move away from them, and I'm trying to go for these more mom and pop things because they're going to be doing repeatable shit. They're going to be dealing with a lot of different problems because they don't have the money or they don't have the ability in-house or the expertise or the tools to do this kind of stuff. So when it comes to an operational issue that's solved in a larger organization, they may not have that nailed down and I may be able to create that on a small scale. That's the idea. Also, the Century 3 Mall. That son of a... Smaller barbers are joined together by them all. Stop wasting... Yeah, I know. But... Maybe not. I don't know if that would work together very well. But the mall. Oh my god. Like 2 years, like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I was emailing the property manager of that mall incessantly. And I actually managed to get in touch with him because I was so interested in what they were doing with it after it goes down. Because it's not down yet. I think Macy's is still there. There's like one place that still lives there and still works out of that space. But it's greenhouses on roof. Hella, dude. Hell yeah. It's not like they're not doing crap with that thing, and it's going to shut down. And I wanted to create a makerspace in there. I wanted to see if I could like use the space to like get a little bit of government funding to make like a massive like in residence accelerator where we'd bring in like 100 different startups that want to build something cool. We have a giant makerspace there. They literally just live there. We feed them and they build their startups. Like I had this, it was an extremely grandiose idea, but I just wanted to ask what they were doing with it to see if they were planning on using it for any like adaptive reuse in terms of like small businesses or things like that. I would love to do something like more than anything. Yeah, no, exactly. They become money pits, exactly. So it's going to suck the life out of anything. And that's what happened with the Century 3 Mall. There wasn't enough population in the local area to get people out there, and also retail started dying because Amazon. But oh man, oh man, I would look at these fucking pictures. Also, would just love to explore it in the middle of the night because it's completely abandoned. Century 3 Mall. Oh, you have no idea. Images. Look at this place. Imagine. Why can't you show me better pictures? Can you? Wow, that son of a bitch is huge. Unsafe and uninhabitable? When was this? This is such. Oh my god. Uninhabitable because of water and fire suppression in the system of building. Oh. Oh, I'll give you. Oh. Closure is temporary. They will be able to reopen. Damn it. All right, whatever. This I read the it's a nightmare. They're not going to be able to do anything with it. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. Yeah, it's so cool. Like the history of this place is hilarious. I would love to take over to some degree and just make it into something startup-y, like some big hub for just bullshit. Ugh, you've no idea how much I want to do that. Oh man, God. Anyway, rant over. Let's actually get back to work. So, my potential problems, we could like new clients, tough. So advertising doesn't work. SEO does, and by being small and amazing. Exactly. They get great reviews by being small and amazing. So we don't want something larger. We want to, and they're not gonna. Like, it's not like I can go to some of these barbershops and say, you know what your problem is? You haven't bought your building. They're gonna tell me, okay. I know, like they know that. They know that buying their building is gonna save them costs in the long term. They know that I guarantee you they have a reasoning for that. Like maybe they don't want to stick with the barbershop forever. Maybe they want to sell the business. Maybe they want to move to a different place. They don't want to be tied down to that specific spot. Plus, they probably don't have the fucking money. So that's not an issue. That's not what we're concerned about. We're not trying to make some big, fancy, ultimate barbershop place. We're not thinking big like that. We're thinking small. What are the small little problems that we can have that I can solve in a week or a weekend by just like making something repeatable? So, for finding new clients, SEO works. Advertising does not work. Reviews work. That's about it. That's all we know, right? So we could help barbershops get Google reviews. We could help barbershops with SEO, but that is not because SEO is such a long-term deal, it's hard to sell. So I'm going to cut that out. New clients, if we're gonna, I'm just gonna try to like silo this down as much as possible. The two things that I think are possible are finding contractors and getting barbershops Google reviews. Those are the two things that I can say, and I can honestly quickly advertise and say, hey, I can provide you an immediate goddamn benefit. All right, that's easy marketing. That's super easy to say, and I think there are repeatable ways to do that. So how could we possibly do any of that? Let's think. Bless me. First, let's try to find contractors. So, barber schools. Barber schools in Pittsburgh. Oh, I don't know how that happened. There are two barber schools of Pittsburgh. They're both called the Barber School of Pittsburgh. Barber School of Pittsburgh.edu. BSP. Job to career in as little as 9 months. Barbers in high demand? Apparently they are. I guess. Maybe that's just a clickbaity thing. Financial aid available. It's made my dream of owning a barbershop a reality. Highly recommend this program. Anybody considering to be a barber? Look at this. So this is the premier place to become a barber in Pittsburgh. I haven't found anything else. I didn't see anything else. Let's double triple check. Barber School of Pittsburgh. Best 8 barber schools in Pittsburgh. This is Yellow Pages. That's not real. Professional barber. Well, actually, maybe it is. I don't want to overlook anything. Barber School of Pittsburgh. Barber Schools become a licensed barber. That's an ad. Barber School of Pittsburgh. Bella Capelli Academy. It is a barber school. Barber styling. Ambridge, PA. Monroeville. Beaver Falls. Interesting. So there are a few more, but these are not in Pittsburgh directly. So the only things that are actually in Pittsburgh is the Barbershop School of Pittsburgh, right? Yeah. So thank you for tuning in, Scott. I'll see you later. But yeah, so interesting. So barber schools, possible. Let's see what we can do with that. We know that since everything else is outside, we can think outside. If we see that's a problem, let's just go with the barber school. Let's stick here. So, questions. Why barbering? How can I get information about the school? How do I apply? School catalog. What do we have here? Mission statement. Interesting. Here we go. Barber School of Pittsburgh's job placement is 78.26%. Job placement rate is based on data from calendar year 2016, right? Very cool. Graduation is 63.89%, based on the calendar year of 2016. Of licensure rate is 100%. Of those that graduate, I guess. Cool. This is fascinating. So you need to complete 1,250 hours in 9 months. Wow. Okay, look, licensed cosmetologists are accredited with 555 hours under a crossover program. They must earn 695 in a barber school or barber shop. Interesting. So it's an hourly based thing. It's flexible, whatever it is. This is fascinating. This is absolutely fascinating. Okay, so if their job placement rate is only 78.26%, there's room for improvement there, right? So let's see if we can contact somebody under... Yeah, let's see if we can contact somebody there. So let's go contact us. Don't give me a form. Aha! Actually, I'm just going to use this. Fernando Marquise. He does engineering and IT. All right. Oh, no. So I'm going to copy email address. I'm going to email them. Gmail. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Super appreciate you tuning in. Awesome. Let's email some boys. I got stuff going on here. Let's compose an email. Say, hey, admin BSP. Question about placing barbers. Hello, BSP. I wanted to ask a quick question about how you place your barbers that graduate. Is that something good? Like, this is, I feel like this is the best way that we can get in touch with them, because we want to make sure that, like, what they're doing. We want to see their process currently. Maybe they already have, like, literally a big fat database on some fancy platform that says, hey, this person would be a great fit for this place, and this, like, these are the possible options here, and this is why, like we should hire here, and, like, this is how we get, like, these are the contacts information that we have for all these different barbershops, blah, 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 blah. Maybe they already have something that's awesome like that. That would be great. I would love that. In which case, that's not necessarily a problem. So why is it an issue for barbers, though? That's what we want to assess. So the first step is we know that it's probably an issue for barbers. We're running on that assumption. So what we're going to do instead, since we can't, like, I've talked to a barber, I should probably talk to more. I should be talking to more barbers. But we could also just go straight to the source of, this is the place that people recruit for almost all of their barbering activities. So why doesn't it work well? And if it does, I'm wrong. But why do they only have a 78% placement rate? There's a whole like 22% of the people that aren't getting placed at some barbershops, even though a lot of barbershops try to hire through them. So what's the problem there? Are there not enough barbershops? Is there too many students? Let's figure it out. I want to ask a quick question: how do you place the barbers that graduate? After a recent interview, I heard with a barber, with a local barber shop, I've heard it becomes a little difficult to for shops to find talent, barber talent, for barber talent, find barber talent. Though the best way, the best option to do so is through the barber school, your barber school. I was wondering if we could hop, or if you could describe your process of placing, or if you could describe your process of placing your graduates. My goal is to create, is to make this easier, is to make this process a little easier for both parties. I would love to help you, and I would love to help you boost your placement rates, if possible. Do you think we could talk? Best Max. Awesome. So I'm going to send that to them. Hopefully they'll get back to us soon. Probably not while we're still on the stream. That would be amazing, though. Awesomeness. Now, so that's the best that we can do probably for this part, right? Hiring contractors. Because it didn't seem like there were any other solutions. We could try to put out ads for contractors and try to like collect a group and then siphon them off to people. But how are we going to make money on that? If people aren't going to be paying, like, we would have to get barbershops to pay us for contractors. And that doesn't sound like their normal process already. It sounds like they do it for, like, they find contractors for free. So I'm probably not going to get paid for that. So I think that was probably the best thing that we could have done to start process on that possible option. Now, ooh, back crack. Now, how are we going to help barbershops get Google reviews if we're assessing that problem? Let's see. Google reviews. I could make a course on how to go Google. Let's look up the process for Google reviewing. So let's say I went to McGinn. Say I went to McGinn. Let's say I make an appointment online. I go here. I get the what is this again? Yeah, it's all these different options. Cool. This is freaking, what is it? This is Setmore. It works, yay. I make a schedule. I go in. I love it. What do I do? I wish Jeremy was still here. Jeremy does reviews on Google sometimes. What do I do? I go to Google. Let's go back to home. How do I review you? I guess we just have to go back. Let's go to Pittsburgh Barbershop. So McGinn's Barbershop. I go here. I don't go to the website. I click and I go here. So 113 Google reviews. I write a review. So this is a natural thing. A month ago, 4 months ago, a month ago. Sort by newest. 4 days ago, 2 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, a month ago, a month ago, a month ago. This is what helps. Insisting that people do 5-star ratings. If we can get more people to do 5-star ratings, that gives barbershops an SEO boost, and they suddenly start appearing up higher on interesting. So look at this. I might be wrong. I could be wrong about this. We have 4.8 down here, but only 32. We have 4.7, but 148. But then we have another 4.8 with 246. Why is he here and not up here? And not above McGinn? What's wrong with his? But overall, nope, see? Why are these guys below? Maybe because of SEO. This is an SEO problem. But it looks like almost everybody here is up here because of quantity. And then this is because of proximity, I think, to me. So maybe reviews aren't how it works. Maybe reviews aren't what's going to make things a little bit better. Interesting. Oh, this is getting this is getting complicated. I don't like it. How are we going to fix this? How do we help people appear better in terms of SEO? It's probably as a result. Here, I have an idea. McGinn's Barbershop, we have Misters. Let's go to the website. They have more reviews, and they have a nicer website. Why aren't they higher? How long have they been around? $2019. About. Where's an about page? The crew. How long have they been doing this? Michael, Heather, Allie, Chelsea, blah, 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 blah. Do they have a rating? Got a sharp blade, looking to get in the game. Join the crew. Yeah. Join the crew. So that's how they do their things. They probably don't have any issues. This is a pretty high quality place. It looks like, given things. And they look pretty new, I guess. Given like their website, they're not very old. So maybe it's just the fact that they haven't been around for very long. So it's probably as a result of a few things. It's probably as a result of review positiveness, number of reviews, and age is what I would imagine. That's how they measure. That's an assumption. That's an SEO assumption. You never want to make SEO assumptions. I hate SEO. But interesting. So overall, I still think getting positive reviews for barbershops makes them look better. So how can we productize that? I could make a course. I could make a little internet course on Teachable. I could use teachable.com. I could create my first online course per month, build annually. I could make a little thing, pay $30 per month. I could make a little video course on how to increase your SEO, like what platforms to use, blah, 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 things like that. That might be interesting. So let's write that down. Create a course to teach barbers how to get better reviews. That's possible. We can make a little free course. So we can make a free course. How else can we teach them? How do you get a person maybe we make like a marketing campaign. What if we made a little marketing campaign? So after somebody comes in, how do we get them to remember they had a great experience? How do we get them to go back? Oh, this is such like an industry-wide problem. But for barbershops specifically, and for those cases, you do research property and find stats. I'll try to explain it. Yeah, I could. I could do a little bit more research into this. But this is pretty typical of basically every industry that lives on reviews. And that's just basically every service industry, right? So literally every service business struggles with this, and I'm not going to solve it overall. I'm not going to create like a fancy product to increase reviews because there's a ton of things that already do that. Oh, maybe I just fucking look it up. There's probably already a ton of products that help with reviews. How to increase my number of reviews on Google. Increase online reviews, control your online reputation, increase online reviews, number one SEO for your website. Just like Google's review, ways to improve reviews, twofold. First, do everything you can to improve your service. Second, encourage customers to create reviews. How to increase Google reviews. Let's read up on this. Shit. Click through your last 5 or 10 transactions. Getting people to leave reviews can be challenging. Asking customers for reviews is a common approach, but better than nothing, it can be fairly ineffective. If you already are ready, you need to make sure business is registered at Google My Business. Google's page is here, and instructions on how to set up can be found here. Cool. After you confirm your listing, you start generating reviews. You can either do it by asking folks to leave reviews or using a service to help you like RepSite or BirdEye. Let's look up RepSite. Here we go. Nice. Awesome. So there are already services that do this. So we don't want to compete with that, but maybe we can work with them. So their pricing is $50 a month, $100 a month, $500 a month. That's pretty expensive. Interesting. 7-day free trial. 50 emails and texts monthly. Free reminders, emails, and texts. So I think what this does, and I would assume like this is the main way to do it, it collects after like when people are making the when people are signing up. Let's say maybe we can make an integration. So maybe let's go to Zapier. I'm just running through ideas. I'm running on a bunch of random stuff. If you have any questions, please. But what if? Do they have set more appointments? They have set more. Great. What if they have Booksy? No results for Booksy. So they don't have Booksy. Interesting. Okay, all right. So they work with Setmore, it doesn't work with Booksy. But what if I'll bet we can find some way around that with Zapier. Does it work with a tool like RepSite? No. That sucks. How it works. Select your business listing or receive email alerts from Google, Facebook, Yelp, Yellow Pages, and Avo review scores change in new reviews. Watch in real time is your score. Okay, cool. So it's live stuff. Enter an email. Clients receive an email or text message thanking them for the business, asking them to rate you from 1 to 5 stars. Clients using 3 or fewer stars get your private feedback form. 4 and 5 stars, click send them directly to Google, Facebook, Yelp, Yellow Pages. Interesting. So they make a bias. They force a bias. That's not what we're worried about. We're not worried about forcing a bias. What we're worried about is forcing people to actually review. But they send reminders. That's what I figured, yeah. So if I can create a reminder system for barbershops that's super simple and cheap, then I'll bet I can sell that to help people get more Google reviews, right? Maybe? Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. Interesting. Another thing that I've seen is Facebook. A lot of these places interact through Facebook. So let's go to Facebook. Let's go to, oh, look at this. This is Scott. He was on just a second ago. This is their new hire. This is Olga, one of my besties. Oh, I love them. They're so cute. Okay, wow. He is rocking too hard. Yeah, an auto mailer. Exactly. So an auto mailer or an auto texter that reminds people to leave a Google review. But some of these places work through Facebook. So, Barbershops. Barbershop near me. I bet a ton's gonna come up. Yeah, so pages, I guess pages. Barbershops near me, blah blah blah. All I guess places. No. No, yeah, this is it. Yeah, so there's a ton of barbershops. A ton of barbershops work through here. So let's check out Big Tom's. They run through Facebook because they have reviews here, 4.8 out of 5. They do reviews through Facebook based on the opinion of 45 people. Look at all these reviews. People review through Facebook. How recent were these? Most recent. Ooh, okay, so these haven't been going for a while. About a year ago. About a year ago, people were doing this. I messaged him. Interesting. So reviews are done through Facebook and through Google. Google seems like the best if you're trying to get found on Google. Facebook seems like the best if you're trying to get found on Facebook. But all we need to do is get more people to review on anything. We need to get more people to review on anything. So how can I teach that? Auto texters. Let's find an auto texter. Pittsburgh Barbershop, set more appointments. So Zapier can't help us really. Unless they're using Setmore. So we're going to have to do our own database kind of crap. This is interesting. Let's go here. And let's say auto texter. Auto emailer. Top 10 mail sending software. So I already know mail sending softwares. SendGrid is used for that. Let's check out SendGrid. 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 Send promotional emails with confidence. Send shipping notifications with confidence. Yeah, so this looks like basically like a MailChimp kind of thing. Let's say auto texters. I don't know why it does that. Automated texting, simple texting. You can focus on the big things, automate the little things, cut down on tedious tasks, start growing your business today. Cool. Send appointment reminders by text, reach large audience with group texting, send automated mass text to alert all your subscribers. Exactly. So this is the kind of stuff that we want. We want a simple texters, and we want email. We can just use MailChimp, I think. Well, we want a mail automation tool. So what we want to do is set up something like a CRM. I wonder if we can set up something in Parabola. Let's check out Parabola. Drag and drop workflow builder. Here we go. Customer reports workflows integration made up of the same repetitive tasks. Yeah. So basically what this does is it sends an email as an attachment. Like you can program different things based off of spreadsheets, off of Google Sheets, off of things like that. Yes, I know. You would have to use APIs and things like that to integrate things. I don't want to integrate things too much. I want to see if I can minimize that as much as possible. So I'm wondering. I wonder if Booksy has any integrations. So Setmore has integrations. Does Booksy have integrations? Booksy integrations. Get app. Hmm. 0% of the most popular apps. That really sucks shit. Sucks a lot of ass. All right. So this isn't going to be. I don't want to sign in with LinkedIn. How about this? Booksy. Sheet. Integration. How about that? Integrated Sheets, SaaS apps, Booksy. 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 Booksy alternatives. Maybe Booksy does it automatically. That's my hope. If they're big enough, they should like let you export things. Why does it export to Google Calendar? Well, it does export to Google Calendar iCal, but it will not automatically sync information placed on the Google Calendar. So it will take you appointments, but does not handle modifications. You don't need it if you have Booksy. Interesting. Booksy alternatives. Booksteam, blah, 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 blah. Schedule. Plenty of scheduling. Plenty of scheduling opportunities. So, it doesn't look like Booksy works well enough, or it has enough integrations. We could probably be really creative with it, but if Zapier doesn't even have it, that's going to be a pain in the ass. But I know with something like Parabola, I can use a Google Sheet, I can use Zapier, I can use something along those lines to integrate things like that without using APIs, without using anything fancy like that, because I don't have the skill to work with APIs. So we could potentially, in theory, work out a Google Sheet to a MailChimp to a Parabola kind of thing through a Setmore, right? Through a Setmore or through a Booksy. That's a theory. To send reminder emails to it might be. Yeah. Just learn fucking JavaScript. Yeah. APIs are just so difficult to work with. I can have one of my friends try to code something together for me, but in theory, I think we're done with this. I think like we've assessed like basically what we would need to help do is create a course, or I could create a reminder set, a reminder program, an automated reminder program to send to ping about reminders, to ping customers to leave a review. Lit. Super dope. Super lit. Interesting. So we could do that. I could just learn some goddamn JavaScript and stop being lazy. I could do kind of a back turnaround way through some Zapier, through some integrations, which I guarantee I could do without coding. Whatever. But those are the possible options. I could also try to sell something along the lines of yeah. I could sell something along those lines. Like maybe I could be an affiliate for some of these other programs, but those look too expensive. Like the iProgram that I was just looking at, that looks too expensive for some of these barbershops. Why would I pay $50 a month to like that's pretty expensive. And I have a ton of customers coming in and out, so I don't think it's applicable. I do not think it's applicable. Regardless, I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty dope. I really liked it a lot. We've actually found some like decent problems that we could probably solve. I think it's pretty cool. I'm excited about it. I'll see you later. I'm probably going to end the stream anyway. Thank you for hopping on. I appreciate it. I will see you soon, boy. Have a good day. But yeah, I'm probably pretty much done here. I think we have assessed a pretty cool market option. I think we have assessed possibilities for cool products. I think we learned a lot. I'm excited about it. I'm mad excited about it. And I appreciate all the feedback. I think we got a lot of good thinking going. So this is really, really cool. This is really, really, really cool. I'm way into it. Okay, I am tired though. And I'm pooped, dudes. I slept too much. Probably gonna take another nap. I have to leave tomorrow. I'm going to Portland. Going to Portland, Oregon, hang out with my dad. It's going to be fun. I'll be gone all next week. I might stream next Sunday. We will see. I'm not sure if I have the time or if I'll be back in town soon enough. We will find out. If so, I will be streaming. If not, I will not be. And I might just push it to like, I don't know. I might back it up to Saturday while I'm still in Portland, or I might just push it to Wednesday, something like that. But yeah, this is super great. I appreciate everybody that hopped on. I gotta go. I will see y'all later. Please ping me wherever, text me on LinkedIn. If you want to like ask any questions or you have any ideas for future streams, anything like that, really appreciate it. I thought this was cool. I think people were engaged. It was mostly just because Scott and Andy were yelling at each other, and also Hank was here. It was a lot of fun. We got a lot of texting, a lot of messages. I love it. All right, cool. I will see y'all later. Love you tons. I'll see you in the next stream. Follow me on LinkedIn if you're not already doing it. Have a great day. Bye.